I'm on New Game Plus, about to fight Genichiro in the Pagoda Tower. I'm not using any prosthetic tools, I'm not using any combat arts. Am I showing off? Is this a skill video? No. I'm forcing myself, however, to do it this way to kind of prove a point. Now, for a lot of people playing, this guy is going to be your first real skill check. For a lot of people, it'll be the wall that stops you from playing. I know for me, I came to a dead halt when I got here in my first playthrough, so I'm sympathetic. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, with not using the prosthetic tools and the combat arts, of course, is that this is a fight that is going to force you to learn certain things that you may have been kind of floating through the game without really mastering up to this point. I'm talking, of course, about certain types of counters, getting down the deflection and attack and counter system, and other things of that nature. If you haven't nailed that stuff down, this is the fight where it's going to happen, or it's not. Now, Genichiro has 3 phases. We're going to cover all of them here. The first 2 are very similar. Our boy's going to come at you like a tactical duelist. You're going to hit him and deflect. You don't want to block. If you have to block, block for the arrow moves. Everything else is going to be deflection. You have to train yourself. Now, the perilous attacks are a little bit different, but he'll telegraph them very, very easily. He'll always do a jump attack, which you can deflect on the downward attack, and if you deflect it properly, you'll have an opportunity to counter. His perilous attacks are very singular for his phases. He'll always do a thrust in phase 1, he'll always do a sideways horizontal slash in phase 2. Phase 1, it's a Mikiri counter. Phase 2, it's going to be a kick attack counter. Now, like I said, he's easy to telegraph. He always opens with a bow and arrow, to a roll, to a slash, which you can deflect to immediately cause some posture damage. I don't get that deflection right away, but that's no big deal. Look at this. Look at this trade. He hits me because I was hesitant. Mikiri counter. Let's hold that down. He does a jump attack. I deflect. Kanji. Mikiri counter. Just like that. Every time. Phase 1. Every single time. Just don't miss a beat. Now let's slow it down again. We're going back at it again. Attacks, deflections. He pulls out his bow. I'm blocking. That's the only time you want to block. He rolls right into another attack. I deflect it. Mikiri counter. I counter that as well. We're back at it. Look at it. Look at his bar. Okay, it's all about the aggression. Now that happened kind of quick, so let's go through the last bit again. He does his wide slashes. I'm deflecting each one. Okay, that's the trick. Phase 1's down. Now, phase 2 is very, very similar. Here's it from a different run, since I didn't complete that one. We're right back at it. Trade. Jump attack. There's the sideways horizontal. I'm doing the XX for the kick counter. Slow it down. Deflection, jump, X for the head kick. Every single time. Okay? Now we're going back into it. He'll trade it up sometimes with the bow and arrow, which you can block, and he'll usually roll into another sword swipe. Sometimes you can get him in a chain where he'll try to peel off, and you can go for a jab on him and keep him in place. Sometimes he'll do that multiple times. But something's going to happen right here. I want you to pay attention. Did you notice that backwards dodge he did? Let's slow it down. Whenever he does this, he'll back up several steps, immediately go to block. That's going to be one of his gnarliest moves. So he'll jump in the air and shoot a volley of arrows. You want to block all of those. If that's the part where he breaks your posture guard, that's okay. Just try to do it on the last hit, okay? Because you'll get hit by them. Now, if you have to heal, you can fall back a little bit of a ways, and you can use your gourd. He'll always try to bow and arrow you from a distance, and if you delay it just long enough and dodge, he'll always miss you. Our boy G also has a flurry attack I want you to watch out for. Now, it can be a good opportunity if you need to heal, since if you get him going with it, you can back off with a couple of dodge steps and do what you gotta do, and he'll follow through with a couple of empty slashes. It's also a good opportunity to build up his posture if he's almost phased out and his posture bar is almost maxed. So that's a good opportunity for some deflections. You can deflect each one, and you'll know he's doing it because he'll telegraph them, he'll have a wind up Just be careful that in phase 3, that if he pulls this off, he'll always end it with a perilous thrust if you manage to go toe-to-toe with him with all those deflections. Now, speaking of phase 3, like I said, he's more aggressive, and he always opens with the same thing, a very long-range jump attack, which will go into a thrust, which you can Mikiri counter. So, always remember that. It's a great way to start the fight. And then there's also these perilous attacks, which I totally whiff right there. And there's a message from our friends at Activision letting us know exactly what I did wrong. Thank you, From Software, for letting that happen. But we'll get one of those. I'll show you how it goes. But look at this. This goes crazy. You can deflect all of that. There is the Mikiri counter. I dodged that because look at my posture bar. I didn't trust myself. But you can totally get that one. Now he does a lot of other tricky stuff. He's jumping around. He's hitting me here. I take a hit there trying to heal, and then he does this running grab thing you want to look out for. There's the dodge I wanted, there's the heal I wanted. You're pretty much doing the same stuff though. If he does something that looks new and you're nervous, peel off, don't take the hit. But remember the fundamentals. You're going to be blocking a lot. I dodged that one as well. We'll get one before the video's over so you can see what that is. The perilous lightning attack, you're going to want to make sure you do take the opportunity because it does crazy damage to him, and that's one of the best ways to end the fight. There we go. So that's it really fast. We're going to slow that down. Here we go. He jumps, you wait for the kanji, and then you jump. You allow yourself to get hit and take a little bit of lightning damage, and then you hit R1 twice as fast as you can to send it back. Look at that damage he takes. It's just like Legend of Zelda. You're going to send it right back to him. You have to make sure you land the R1s before you ground yourself, or you'll take shock damage. That's the way to do it. It's tricky. It's especially tricky in the pagoda because of the ceiling, which is why I personally am terrible at it. But that's how you do it, and if you manage to nail all of those, you'll kill him very, very fast. I didn't trust that one. I dodged it. There's a Mikiri counter. He still does it. He'll also break out the sideways horizontal too. So if you're quick enough, you can pull off the two-step kick. Now he gets me a couple of bows here. Bow and arrow hits, I mean. But here we go. Opportunities for heals. If you have to take a hit, just weigh it. Now this is another slow down spot. I want you to see that running grab he does. Don't get hit by that. There we go. That's pretty much it. I mean, he's harder in phase 3, yeah, but if you know what you're doing, you could probably get through that phase a little bit quicker. I personally prefer phase 3. Doesn't look like it in the video, but I find that once you get him to this point, it's pretty straightforward. You can count on him to always be aggressive.